Welcome to another episode of Transpowered Leader with me, Malcolm Stephens. In the previous episodes of Transpowered Leader, we had seen what is leadership, the importance of having expert power while we lead, stages of leadership, and how to develop the ability to influence others. In this episode, we are going to look at the various traits required to be a transpowered leader and how people fail in leadership roles and where do organizations go wrong in appointing the right leader. Let us begin by understanding what are traits. Traits are distinguishing quality or characteristic typically belonging to a person. Apart from possessing the necessary knowledge, skills, and acumen required to lead, a leader who is transformational or transpowered should ideally possess some of these essential traits. Now, how do we get these traits? Some of the traits which we have is primarily genetic by nature, and many of them we imbibe because of our need, because of our desire, because of circumstances, because of experiences. In my more than 3 decades of coaching, training, consulting, and developing leaders across organizations and institutions, I realized these transformational leaders or the transpowered leaders not only have the knowledge and the skills and the acumen to transform, but most importantly, they have certain typical traits which actually enable them to be a transformational or a transpowered leader. I do believe that leaders are not born but evolved. They evolve in their journey of leadership as they develop their competencies. In the earlier episode of Transpowered Leader, we had seen that how expert power is so very critical to be a transformational or a transpowered leader. We develop this expert power by enhancing our competencies, by building our competencies. And what are these critical factors for competencies? It's the knowledge and the skill and the ability. So we develop these skills and we have the necessary power to really be a transpowered leader. But is that sufficient? Most often, organizations fill up their leadership positions with people who have the necessary knowledge and skills required to lead. So they have the knowledge, they have the skills, and even have the ability to lead. But what is missed out is whether that person or the leader who is occupying that position does have the traits required to lead the organization and its people to get the desired results. A leader can acquire all the knowledge he wants or develop all the skills which he requires to lead an organization. But with all the knowledge and all the skills which he has acquired, and he doesn't have the traits required to lead the organization, then he will not be able to get the organization to where it should be. Traits are very critical, and specific traits are required for different types of organizations and different institutions. So a person with certain traits would be successful in a particular type of organization. But without the required traits, with all the knowledge and with all the skills and with all the talent which he has, he would not be in a position to really transform the organization which he is leading. Let me explain this by using an analogy of a dog and a tiger. Let's take a dog, let's take a Labrador. The Labrador has got certain traits. With these traits, it can be trained, it can be imparted certain knowledge and skills on how to be a good sniffer dog. The tiger too has got certain traits. The tiger can be trained to do certain things, but you cannot swap them over. Right? A Labrador cannot be trained how to hunt, and a tiger cannot become a good sniffer to detect various things at the airports or hotels or wherever it is placed. Similarly, even leaders with certain traits can be placed in leadership roles in a particular organization or in a position. and some other leader with certain other traits can be placed in a different kind of an organization which requires a different type of competency to get the necessary results. Most often, leadership roles are assigned to people based on their knowledge and skills. These leaders end up managing more than leading. Being transformational is way, way, way beyond their abilities. They seldom have the power to transform, which we have defined as being a transpowered leader. When it comes to being a transpowered leader who has the power to transform the organization and the people whom they are leading, the leader has to certainly have certain critical traits. The number of essential leadership traits they possess will determine whether they are truly a transpowered leader. Based on my long journey of having coached and trained a lot of leaders across organizations, I've hit upon 12 critical leadership traits that are very, very essential to be a transpowered leader in any kind of an organization. The first trait, which is so very essential and so very important, is the ability of the leader to dream, to be a dreamer, to dream. Not those dreams when you go to sleep, but those dreams which keep you awake and don't allow you to go to sleep. A truly transformative leader has to really be a wonderful dreamer. The power of dreams also gives him the power to imagine. In fact, imagination is a workshop of the human mind wherein old ideas and established facts may be reassembled into new combinations and put to new uses. In fact, your imagination actually helps you to innovate. Your imagination actually helps you to be a better leader. And your imagination actually helps you to shift the paradigm. So everything, be it leadership, be it innovation, be it initiative, or whether it's your own self-confidence, it all needs to be first created in your imagination. The second important trait to be a truly transpowered leader is the ability of the leader to be a visionary. Now that he has seen a dream which has got him all excited, he has to now put certain timelines, certain deadlines, and work out a frame in which the vision has to be accomplished. This vision is nothing but the future state of the organization as envisioned by the leaders and the board of the organization. It is where the organization wants to be, and it's about the leader taking them there. The third important trait in a leader is to be inspirational and motivational. Now that he has put a vision in place for the organization and his team, he has to now inspire and influence his team members to get to that particular vision. He has to be a leader who has got the ability to influence and lead people to that particular vision. When he influences his team members, this particular goal and the vision also turns out to be their hopes, their needs, and their requirement and desire. So a leader has to be a good influencer, and he does that by inspiring his team. To inspire is to ignite and change the thoughts of the followers. We have to remember that people buy into the leader before they buy into his vision. The leader also has to be motivational. It is that ability of a leader to ensure that people take the necessary action. So inspiration is changing the thoughts, and motivational is ensuring that the followers will take the necessary action. The fourth critical trait is that of leader having courage and confidence. A leader should have the daring required to live his dreams and have the conviction required to attain them. Now coming to the fifth critical trait, and that of high energy, one of the most important traits, the level of energy possessed by the leader. Two factors actually govern the entire journey of a leader: time and energy. When you have a lot of time, you can play around with your energy. But when the time is reduced, which in fact for most leaders, they have a very short time frame. They've set up challenging time frames. And to meet it, and to meet the deadline, to achieve their dreams, to ensure the vision is accomplished, they need to have high energy. And having this high energy can also ignite the enthusiasm within them. Enthusiasm is very critical. When the leader is enthusiastic, his followers also become enthusiastic. Seeing the leader enthusiastic, the followers also feel highly enthusiastic. They also want to work for this leader who appears or is definitely enthusiastic. So as I said, enthusiasm is contagious, and the level of energy determines your level of enthusiasm. The sixth critical trait to be a transpowered leader is passion. Legendary leaders have created and built great organizations because of this one trait, that is passion. The love for what they're doing, whether it is Walt Disney or somebody who started a chain of hotels, who has built a great organization, they all had this crazy passion and the love for what they were doing, and they created those kind of organizations. And that's an important trait. That is passion. The seventh critical trait is that of core beliefs of a leader. What is the leader's belief systems? We always say the belief of a leader actually formulates his values. His values determine the attitude and behavior, which also leads to the element of integrity which he brings to the organization, to his leadership. That also gets him to become loyal. Commitment to whatever he's doing is highly committed. And he also has the necessary humility and empathy in all that he's doing. So he's compassionate, he believes in having the positive attitude, he's honest, and he has a tremendous dose of integrity within him. That brings us to the eighth trait to be a transpowered leader. And that too, a very important trait. That is the trait of a leader to have a big dose of craziness in him. He should just go berserk at times. Do something totally unconventional. Come out with an idea which people will call it as crazy. Shift the paradigm at times. It's equivalent to stepping out in the rain to dance. Do things which others would say is crazy, but he believes it is essential. All he requires is that one person to believe that dream. We call it the power of one. That one person who follows the leader, which ultimately gets a lot of people buying this crazy idea, a crazy dream, or whatever it is. So this big dose of craziness is absolutely essential. And that brings us to the ninth important trait, and that too, a very important trait like going crazy. You need to be an excellent communicator. The trait of being an excellent orator or a communicator is absolutely essential. Be it to influence people to attain a goal or an established vision or whatever it could be. Leader need to be extremely good in articulation. He should be a good influencer. And this essential trait of being an excellent communicator will also ensure that the leader builds excellent win-win relationships. The 10th trait is resilience. Leaders who are resilient become excellent in difficult times. People who soar through life have resilience. The resilient core transforms the momentum of life's many blows into speed and distance. Forces that normally shatter other people are what keeps these leaders going. The 11th trait, very vital to build organizations, is that of the leader being a team player. A leader who has this trait of being a team player builds winning teams. As we always say, the leader is only as good as his followers. So leader with the trait of being a team player builds winning teams. He builds about synergy in the team. He gets the team to reach a consensus and come out with results which no individual could have achieved. So this is an important trait in a leader, to be an excellent team player. The last but not the least of the traits is the 12th trait of being a lifelong learner. Leaders with this trait believe in continuous learning. They are prepared to learn from their own experience and also from everybody around them. Leaders with this trait are voracious readers. They reflect on what they have read and put these learnings into action. They also share their learnings with their followers and people around them. For them, learning is a continuous, lifelong process. In this episode, I covered the traits required to be a transpowered leader. When we have these traits, the 12 traits which I spoke about, we can be in any organization and bring about the desired transformation and attain all the results we set out to achieve. Even if some of you do not possess the desired leadership traits, all you have to do is commit yourselves to developing these essential traits. The journey might be difficult, but not impossible, for those who have the desire backed up by the required commitment to develop these leadership traits. This is Malcolm Stephens signing off till we meet again in the next episode of Transpowered Leader.